Well, hello. Hi, everyone. On the journal side of things, I normally say today, but ain't no need to say it today. But I wanted to come on a little bit just, just, just because a wonderful thing to tell people of just keep the peace. Man, literally keep the peace in your mind. I had posted, I believe, yesterday or today. Don't let the peace you see people with basically rob you of the peace you have. You know, I been speaking out a little bit of, you know, don't let your circumstances and everything that you see. Don't let your eye and mind play a trick on you that what you see is what all it is. It's not. A lot of what we are going through, you only see the surface of it, but underneath, God is working. He's working some things out that you don't even need to see because you need to be in where you have to trust Him. So, do you trust Him or do you not trust Him? So, let me take this hat off. So we have to make sure that we are really living in the know. Walk in the know. Now, know is that we know God is going to work everything out. God is going to do what He know what to do, and that's His will. He does it best. We don't have to worry about trying to explain, what His will is because you don't know it for yourself just yet. God reveals it a little bit at a time for us. And I know personally for myself that I just walk in what I know, and I know Him that He's going to have my back, that He's a provider, He's a lover, He's a trustworthy man, so I don't have to worry about anything. Like there's no worry in Him. They can't coincide together. Faith and a worry, faith and fear, faith in disloyalty. Like that's one thing He is. He's loyal. He's always going to be loyal. He is who He is. He's God all by Himself. So I thank Him so much for it. Um, I was speaking with someone today because at my job we had a passing of a old employee, and um, it's a wonderful thing to know that a beautiful soul, a beautiful person is just at peace now. And I don't like, it's funny. It's not that we do the rest in peace. You are at peace. You know, it's more so the consoling of the family members and friends and children that now have to be at peace. And it was just making me really like joyful to know that all we have to do is just trust that God has everything in His hands and working everything out, and that it's just our part to be there, to console, to love, to be a listening ear, to help in any way necessary. It's one, we're servers. We have to be servers, servants, everything. But it's another when there's a passing. That's the one time where the family may not be able to function. So that's where we step in. That's where you go and you give a helping hand at all means at any time that you can go. And it's a wonderful thing to know that you know you can just be there. Sometimes a lot of people just want to see a face. They just, even if you say nothing, they just want to see a face. They don't even know how to put everything together themselves. So you just have to be there to show up. And I'm just so grateful that God puts people in our lives for a reason and a season, and for us to go forth and just being who we are. I talk a lot on the YouTube side of things, and lately I've been merging them, but I'm going to get back separating them. That be who you are, discover who you are, and I know I'm kind of moving from one subject to the next, However, be who you are, because this is what I was saying to family member. You know, you have to, well, different, yeah, but someone different came in. You have to be who you are. A lot of us sometimes do not discover who we are until later on in life. And we feel like we may not be heard, or that we feel insignificant, we don't feel wanted, and don't know how to explain that out at times. So I was basically saying that sometimes you can't be the one to help someone. You can be parent, you could be spouse, you can be best friend, sister, brother, and you may not be the one to help that person. But what you have to do is not think of yourself less than, or that, you know, I want to do it. I want to be the one to do it. No, you will be the one to do it, to step back and find someone else who can help in a situation where you can't be the one that this person is going to get help from. One, because do you want it where if you're the one doing it, that they shut down, versus getting someone else? It's okay. And a lot of the times we don't want it to be someone else. We want it to be us, to be the one to say, I, want to help you. I'm going to help you. And you have to be cautious of that, wanting to be the one to always be the one to be the savior. Because then what happens when you need saving yourself? What happens when you need saving? Because you'll find out that you're so the dependent one, that everyone comes to you for the problem solving, that when you do need help, they're going to look at you like, we don't know how to save you, because we're used to coming to you. So sometimes you need to offset that to someone else, so that this way, if something's going on with you, you can recognize it and go for help yourself. Don't always want to be the strong suited firm one, because it comes where we all need help. That's why I was saying that, as you go out, and like my mentor, she mentors me, I mentor someone else, and she gets mentored, I get mentored. Everybody, it's like a chain. All of it just keeps on going, because you'll find yourself emptying out when you don't need to be empty. We were meant to be filled. God has us where he fulfills us. So we have to go to people for help. No matter what, stop wanting to be the strong suited one. God knows you're strong. He suits you up, but he also tells you to get filled up, to come and get refreshed. Be still. So don't always want to be the one to fix the problem, because what you may consider to be a problem may not necessarily be a problem. It could be where it's a misunderstanding. No one's communicating right. And it may be where that's where an outside source can come in to talk. An outside person can come in to even listen. And I believe a lot of us lately feel, and especially with COVID, feel like we're not being listened to. So it's the vocal thing. It's either you talking too much, but then you talk too much because you feel like in a lot of ways you're not being listened to. So when I do feel like I have someone's attention, you'll go blabbering off, because it's like, wait, I finally got somebody paying attention to me. But what you got to do, sometimes we have to open up to be listeners. We have to open up and know how to communicate. And there's nothing wrong. I am a firm believer. When I ran from counseling for years, because in my head it was like it was coming off in trying to be given to me in a way that there was something, really wrong with you, something off with you. The terms that they would use, you're bipolar and you got depression and everything. When a lot of it, when I first went to therapy, I went in trying to diagnose myself. It wasn't until after about a good month or so that my therapist told me, no, what you're telling me and what you're trying to diagnose yourself with, you have none of these. you are not being listened to because you don't know how to really communicate out. You're so used to being one. I'm like the baby girl, and that's just one area of it. But I just always felt like I wasn't, vocal. So when I got my chance to express it out, it will be like fast pace of telling you what was going to be done or shutting down. So I didn't know how to communicate. And that is, believe it or not, a lot of our problems. But it's a problem that can be solved. It's a problem that can actually, be looked into and handled. You just have to be open. You have to be willing. Take time out for yourself. You go to, the mall or anything, and you always seem to be surrounded with people at times. And that's not a bad thing. However, the best person you could ever be with all the time that's with us is God. So I find myself, just being with him. I go out by myself with him. I go shopping with him. I go out to eat. All of that. I'm comfortable with being by myself. Whereas though before I wanted to do the merge. So I will be with you or be with anybody and fit in what they wanted to do. Never really wanting to, do what I wanted to do or do the same old thing that with my surroundings, what I was accustomed to. So the yelling, the screaming, the cussing, the acting a fool, the drinking, the all kinds of crazy stuff. But now I like being quiet. I want to say this is one of the most vocal spots that I am. I talk at work, of course, but I'm learning how to communicate. So being by myself helps me better with communicating because I am becoming a listener. And let me tell you why I say it like that is because when I am out by myself, I don't know the person that ends up coming and sitting at a table near me or even at the bar area near me. So I have to end up somehow talking. I have to listen to this person because they don't know me. I don't know them. So in order for us to communicate, it involves listening. So I have learned how to be a listener. And in that listening, then teaches me how to communicate back. So God has a funny way of teaching us how to communicate. I would have never knew any of this if I didn't take the time to want to know who I really was and not wanting to fit any kind of mold, being what I was raised in and kind of behaviors that I was in, but then struggling, not wanting to be in that kind of mindset. And I'm not saying my family is bad at all. They're not. However, I know for myself, I end up not knowing who I was. It was an identity crisis because of my name. My nickname, Muffy, my real name, Audrey Elaine. So depending on how and what you called me, I knew how to act. Whereas though now, you can call me either one of them. I know who I am. So I don't have to worry about fitting in no mold. I'm God's image. So wherever I am all the time, no matter what. I don't have to worry about like, oh, I'm over here with this person now. So I was telling my friend that you want to help somebody is a great thing. You want to help your situation and your family member. It may not necessarily be you if you're not willing to listen, if you're not willing to not let it be you, because you're also going to be in that position of whereas though they may not want to open up to you because they'll feel like they're being judged right away. That one thing I can tell you is like the addict brain is two. It is like you don't want to be doing it, but that's the one thing that's not judging you. So everyone looking from the outside in is judging you They're looking at you like, well, what's wrong with her or him? What's going on with them? Why are they like this? Or I knew they was going to be doing this, and they don't want anything for their life and stuff like that. The negative. So the addict brain tells you they don't love you. They don't care about you. Look at how they're looking at you. Look at how they're judging you. And that person will shut down and not communicate with you or anybody. So you cannot be the one that always want to help, because their brain is telling them, don't trust. The addict brain will tell them, don't trust this person. They're judging you. See, they don't love you. And that's a lie. The addict brain will get you caught up in some things. And it's like almost a revolving door, or a mirror that reflects in a certain way. Because as you're in that crazy mind of an addict brain, you have a still brain too at the same time that's looking at, I don't want to be in this situation. I don't like this. I don't want to, be smoking and drinking and acting a fool. But it confuses you, because as still as that mind is telling you don't need to be an addict, you can come out of it, ask somebody for help. That addict brain will play a trick on you to tell you all the lies. The enemy will have your brain thinking that don't nobody care, don't nobody want you. Look how they're looking at you. And it's not that they're looking at you with a judgmental eye. A lot of times it could be, I don't know how to help, but I want to help. So they're looking at you, and a lot of it is a look because they remember how you were. But how do I help this person get back to this? So they don't know how to do it. But the addict brain will play a trick on you to tell you they don't care about you. We have to be cautious with it. So before you want to pass a judgment that somebody is an addict, whether it's anything, because we go straight to the addict thing of alcohol, drugs, and like that's kind of it. And then shopping, and then people say sometimes, oh, this passive, like, oh yeah, I'm addicted to shopping. There are addictions that we don't even realize sometimes are real addictions. I'll give you one. I'll be honest with you. One of the addictions that I had is hoardism. And let me tell you why it was. Because one, I grew up with that, and now in therapy, I am breaking all of that down. A lot of the times, hoarders will hoard items because it's like they are the ones that don't talk back or scream at you or belittle you or tear you down or hurt you or leave. So it's like I will put this stuff in my house. They're empty promises. They're empty fulfillments, but you don't know that because your brain is telling you, oh, you'll feel better with this around. You'll need it. Oh, get it, because they won't have it on sale no more. So you might as well get it. But you have to be cautious of that thing because that is an addiction. And it does end up hurting in the long run. The best substance that I know I have now is Jesus. Look it up. Look it up. I can't overdose. It can't just clutter my home and make it feel like it's not a home. He won't. He doesn't leave. He's trustworthy. And I get such a fulfillment out of it. I don't have to worry about, oh, will it kill me? Will if I take too much of this, let me just take a little bit so it doesn't kill me. But it'll get me where I can numb everything out. I love the fact that I feel now. Because an addict brain, you be so busy trying to fulfill something that you will never fulfill. You will never fulfill. But you don't know that. And this is why before we want to pass a judgment on somebody looking from the outside in, you have to step back and get counseling. You have to be the one that it may not be you. Send them to a right kind of counselor, even if you have to do it 1,000,000 times. You can't literally take them there. Sometimes it just takes you just giving a card. Giving a card. You'd be shocked and surprised what people will hold on to and keep. Because keep in mind, it's the two brains. It's the two brains. So they'll hold something. They'll even throw it away. You'd be so quick to see how fast somebody will remember a number. Or even a name, and they'll look up something by name. Remember, we live in the Google world now, so all you got to do is remember a name, and you can Google it. A therapist, any of that. People do not wake up and raise their hands in school when the teachers say, "What do you want to be?" "I want to be an addict." No one does that. It happens. Things have happened in our lives that sometimes really reflect, what we go into. But can you come out? Yes. Yes. People can come out. So what you were at one point won't be who you always are. And don't want to run from it at all. That at one point you were an addict and you needed help, that you couldn't get things all together. When you lean and you trust into God, trust me, He will clean you up. He will get you better than new, and He will transform you. And when He knows that my child is saved by my grace, He's going to send you back out there for you to go and do the same for others. Because you won't be coming from the judgmental eye. You won't be coming from, do it my way. The one thing with addicts that get clean and come sober and come into sobriety is you help others, that you go back and you are a listening ear. You're an open heart. You tell the truth. You don't try to get people in by manipulation or anything like that. Because you know when they want it, they will come. And they'll know that, I can come to this person. They won't judge me. They won't get tired of me. They'll help me. You don't have to bully badge people into sobriety. They will come. All you have to do is be a listening ear and an open heart for them. And I know I kind of jumped over 2 subjects, but this was kind of with the pinpoint. So I'm going to pinpoint it all together for you of how it all came to line today for me. I was dealing with these 2 situations, and you just have to know that people are hurting in this world. We are not the only ones, me, as this single person that is going through something, that has a lot on their plate. We all do. But it's the willingness to say, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I need help. Can someone help me? And I find out that when you are being helped, you help others, because it helps you get through it. It's the through that actually builds us up. It's the through that actually has where God is saying, if you just lean more on me, if you trust me through all of this stuff that's going on, every circumstance, every situation, everything that's going on, if you just go through the through, I promise you, you'll come out better than ever. You'll be more sustainable. You'll be more where when you work for something, you treasure it more. When you work for it, you'll do your best not to lose it again. And especially it's yourself, because you'll see yourself from years. Remember, we all have a testimony. You'll see yourself from years ago when you couldn't get it all together, when you was having problems, when you was having meltdowns, when you were out of your mind. And you'll be like, God, I'm so grateful. That's why I say I wake up every day with a grateful heart. It's not a lie for me. I'm so amazed at times that I'm here. I am so amazed. I'm grateful that I am here. So when I tell you I got a story, and you guys heard a lot on here in the YouTube channel. However, let me tell you, you still only probably heard a pinky nail of it. because I have been through a lot. And when I look back over my life, all I can say, God, I'm so grateful. Because what I have done, he never cast me out. He never turned away from me. I can pinpoint circumstances in my life that I look back now and I'm like, God, you were there for this. Because it could have been bad. I could have been dead. I could have been out on the street. My mind could have been lost. And you stepped right on in. Like you literally, in one instance where it could have been a car crash, it was literally like he picked me up and literally like moved. It should have been no way that it wasn't going to be a head-on collision. And nobody but God. Man can't do it. So you talk about waking up grateful? Yeah, I do. I wake up grateful. I have alarm clocks on my phone, and I always say, for what now? Because literally, it's like God said, okay, get up, child. He taps me up. He puts me to sleep. It was a point in my life, if I told you, I could have made a Benadryl commercial, because I could take a box of 24 Benadryl in a 18-hour period, on top of medicine that I was taking. And when I tell you, I'm so grateful that I have the lining of my stomach, that no health issues came from it, that I am alive and well, and I don't have to worry about, because in my mind, you couldn't have told me that I wasn't going to get sleep. I wasn't. These things are, medicine is for a moment. And you will get caught up on it. Now, I'm not saying if your doctor gives you something that you should stop. But you need to make sure you are talking with your doctor medically. Don't just go for the, oh, yeah, you need to be taking this. I question everything now. I question everything now. Don't be nobody's test on me. Because one thing I can tell you, one of my friends works at a pharmaceutical company. They will test you. And then what happens? The medication get recalled. And then you're in a lawsuit that you be like, oh yeah, I'm in a lawsuit, I'm getting money. No, forget about the money. That money won't mean nothing if your life is not here, if your health is down. So you question everything it is to question when it comes to medicine. I have multiple sclerosis. The first thing they wanted to kind of put me on is all kind of medicines. And I did it at first because my body was all kinds of everywhere. I didn't know what it was. I really thought MS, when they said MS, was muscle spasms. I knew nothing about it. But I did my research, not only medically with papers and reading books and stuff. I did my own research on my body, how it took things, how I knew. One, I had an addict brain. I was just coming out of taking pills, and yet now you want to put me back on pills. And then I actually was crazy enough to say, oh, I can do medical marijuana because it's a medical prescription, but it still wouldn't do anything for me, because even though it will be medical prescribed, I am an addict. I have an addict brain. So no matter what is prescribed to me from a doctor, my brain does not know that. My brain will keep pushing the limits. So I have to know who I am. And I know who I am to a point that I'm not taking the medicine. So I know how to work my body now. I know what to do and what not to do. Where to go and where not to go. Don't live in stress. Don't live in anger. That's why everything that's going on with me right now in my life, I don't have time for it. And not a mean I don't have time, but still be holding on to it and angry and bitter and pissed. No, I have to let it go, because I'm not letting anything limit my health. Not at all. And you know why? Because my God isn't limited. He doesn't work on limits. I have bounties of everything. So I'm not going to sit there and let my life be limited with crazy beyond medical standards or health standards. One, I trust God. And let me tell you, when my body hurts beyond prayer for me, I know how to slow it down and how to do it. I think I'm going on I believe I know it's over a year, but I want to say it's actually 2 years since 2020 that I've taken medicine. Yeah, by the grace of God. By the grace of God, I'm still walking, moving, talking, doing everything. When my brain literally shut down and I had to learn everything again outside of my name. I had to learn colors and shapes in the alphabet, how to walk, how to talk, how to think. So when you tell me, wait, you got a grateful heart, where it come from? I got a grateful heart because this woman right here had to learn it all again like I was a baby, and I thank God for it because it was like a clean slate. Like it was like, okay, now you didn't learn. It was like a baby, you learning how to, from milk all the way on up to full-fledged running. I literally had I forget the machine, but I had a machine that had to teach me how to walk. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful. So when people try to tell you that you can't change, that you are always just going to be an addict or you're going to be a slum, you let people keep that thinking of your old self there. It's doable. I'm living witness for it. I'm a living witness that when God steps in, no man can shut down what he has for you. When God steps in, and he's always there, it's the fact that you got to acknowledge that it's him, not you. I'll tell you that nothing of where I am now is due to me. Did I do my part with helping him? Yeah. I surrendered and said, God, do your will. Whatever you need me to do, I'll do it, Lord. So you need me to stop doing this? I'll do. You don't want me to go here? I won't go. You need me to sit still? I'll sit still. You need me to move? I'll move. To someone from the outside who know how I used to act, I could be corny. I'm fine with that. I got peace. I can fall asleep at night with nothing in my system. I can wake up, go to the restroom, come back, and fall back to sleep. I'm telling you, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I told you the concoctions and all the stuff that I would do to think that I was getting sleep, fall asleep, and be up. What I thought in my brain was hours later until I looked at the clock. I stayed looking at the clock. I don't have to look at the clock now. I don't have to look at the clock. Because I thought I would sleep for hours, wake back up, and it'd be like 40 minutes, if that. Here I go, taking more medicine. I don't have to take any of that now. So yes, I'm grateful. God will turn your situation around. I had to say at first, because I wasn't know it. This is why you have to be careful and cautious of where you go when you're starting to get everything together and God is having you get up and walk. Because people will keep you in victim status. And you know who will keep you in victim status before anybody else do? Yourself. Yourself. Because you've been so used to hurt and down and on the ground and being belittled and being nothing that you will keep yourself there when God is telling you, get up and walk. And you have to get yourself up and walk. You have to push and keep on going. Don't you worry about what anybody else is going to say. People will always talk. People will always have something to say. And especially now in the social media platform and everything. Look at me. I'm on here. I'm saying something. Who you going to believe? Who you going to believe? Read God's word when I tell you. There's so much power in it. It's not a lie. It's so true. I'm living witness of it. So you talking about grateful? You talking about walk by faith and not by sight? Yeah. Do I have moments that I have to call people? Yes, I call people all the time. Please, it's like it's like my cousin was playing one time. They were a little bit younger then, and he goes to his brother and he says, "Poos, pump me up." Basically, like he needed someone to kind of pump him up for what he was about to do. And my little cousin pumps him up. The funniest thing ever. Pumps him up. And I laugh every time I tell this story because he ended up breaking his arm jumping off these steps. But what got me with it is the fact that he believed and knew the faith of that if I get my brother to pump me up like I'm going to fly off of these steps and I'm going to land, that's faith. That's faith. And even though he fell and broke his arm, let me tell you what he learned from it. He says to me, next time I'm going to do it like this. And that floored me, because kids have a resilience that like no other. It's funny that we tell kids, stop make believing. Why you dreaming? That ain't never going to happen. Don't ever do that to a kid, because when the world comes and gets them with all kind of crazy stuff and they become an adult, then it's like they have their brains kind of just function on work and work and work. So if you keep telling them, yes, you dream. Dreams go into behind works all the time. And how about this? I'm getting back into the dreaming because I was a dreamer as a kid until it was like, why you dream so much? That ain't never going to happen for you. Let me tell you, things that I dreamed of that's coming back to me now have been coming to fruition. God has been bringing them back. I used to dream about going to school. And God is bringing it back. Owning businesses. God is bringing it back. I always wanted to help the world. Stop thinking small that you just got to help within your school or your community or your city. Dream big. Beyond big. We serve a big, mighty God. So he can do it for you. I mark this date right now, this time. So it is March 12th, 2021. Let's see what time it is. 7:23. I guarantee you, where I am now won't be here forever. I'm going to be pushed forward because God, he moves forward. And you who watching now, you mark the spot right now. Mark the spot. I guarantee you that how God moves, he doesn't go back. He goes forward. He pushes us forward. He rockets us forward. So dream big. When everybody's telling you that's not going to happen, okay, all right. Man will tell you that. But what does God tell you? I'm living witness of it. I'm living witness of it. No matter whatever's going on and the circumstances and everything, don't look at it. You keep on pushing. Who do you trust? Going into a little bit, you can't trust man. Men don't know how to lift up. Not like how God, they can't. And yes, we do need men out here, whether you are a female with a male or whatever. And I wouldn't even say that couple-wise. We are meant out here to encourage and love one another. That's what I love to do. And I find out it's better to love and encourage someone when you're going through something deep. When you're in the pit. Still love and encourage someone. Because God wants you to help and be a servant. Because he's definitely serving you. So you don't have to worry about when it's going to be my turn. It's your turn now. Open up your eyes and see what God is doing. Open up your eyes and be grateful. Because it could have been different. It really could have been different for you. But God saw fit by his grace and his mercy to restore you. And it's not a restore like it happens once. He's a continuous. He keeps on going. He keeps on moving. He's not, oh, I blessed you in that area once. I don't do it again. That's not how he is. No, he don't. He moves and he continues to move. Our part is to make sure we are being in line with him, wanting his will, being of service, helping others. God needs our help. He really does. And I can tell you, for me, and I'm grateful for it. It feels so good to be needed. But you know what feels even better for me? To be wanted. For God to say, I want you. I need you to do this, but I want you to do it. I need you to go here, but I want you to go there. It's a great thing for both. But for me, it's Jesus. I thank him so much. So I love you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. I didn't know I was going to go this long, but thank you, God. You guys, bye now.